Hello, my name is Joshua Mootoo and welcome to PixelMake. Today's video is going to be a part of a cluster of tutorials which will eventually show you how to make something like this, where you can move the character left and right with animations. You can aim the cannon up and down and also fire the bullet in the same direction as the cannon. You may notice that when the bullet came in contact with the ground, you saw an explosion. We've decided to call it a booth. Hope you like it. That was made by another member of the team. So yeah, that's pretty much what we'll be creating within the next couple tutorials. But today's video is the fluffy difficulty, and what we'll be doing is 1. Creating the box colliders so the tank does not fall through the level like this. 2. Create the C# script which will allow the tank to move left and right. And that is it. If you haven't already, feel free to watch my previous video on setting up your first project. And also, all assets will be available to download for free. The link will be in the description below. So what I've done is, in my sprites folder, I've imported the level asset and the tank template asset. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag them both onto the hierarchy, which is this bit here. So I've dragged the tank in, and now I'm going to drag the level in. You may notice that the tank is now disappeared. So what you do, you select the tank, go into the inspector, and in the sprite renderer, under order in layer, just change it from 0 to 1. And you may also notice that the tank is way too big. So what I'm going to do is select the level. You can either click it in the hierarchy or select it in the scene itself. So I'm going to select the level and change the scale in the transform to scale 2:2. So if I run the game by pressing play at the top, you'll notice that the camera is too close, and 2, the tank isn't falling, it's stuck in midair. So to fix that, first I'm going to go to the main camera in the hierarchy, go to the camera and change the size from 5 to 10. Next thing I'm going to do is select the tank and go to Add Component, Physics 2D and Rigid Body 2D. So if I run the game, the camera is further away, but the tank falls through the level, and we don't want that. So all we got to do is, on the tank and the level, we got to add box colliders. A box collider allows objects to collide with each other. And to add a box collider, what you do, you go to Add Component, Physics 2D and Box Collider. So we've added this to the tank object. We're also going to add one to the level as well. So Add Component, Physics 2D, Box Collider. You may notice if you select the tank, you'll see a green outline around the tank. That is what the box collider is. And if you go into the inspector, you can change the size of the box collider and also where it's positioned. So to change the size and offset, you can either hover over the X or Y and click and drag to change the size, or you can type in the text box here. So I'm going to make this one 3 and the Y value is going to be 4. The offset I'm going to make 0.03, and the Y value I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to roughly make it so it aligns with the bottom here. So that's the tank setup. Now for the level, it's going to make it the same size as the level asset itself, so that's way too big. Now what we want to do is make it go around the platform here. So I'm going to make it this. So I'm going to make the box collider slightly smaller than it is, and I'm going to move it across. Let's see, That looks like it's in the middle, so I'm going to make it slightly bigger again. And we roughly have it on the outside of the platform. And all we've got to do now is make it smaller. So I'm going to make this one 0.9. And now we've got to move it down again. So if we click drag, I'm going to make it roughly minus 2.8. And that's pretty much it. So if you run the game, you'll now notice that the tank does not fall through the level, and that's what we want. The next thing we've got to do is obviously add the move mechanic. So we've got to create a C# script. So if you go to your scripts folder, right click, go to create and C# script. I'm going to call this player underscore move. So if we double click that to open it up, I'll be using Visual Studio, but if you're using MonoDevelop, don't worry, all I'm doing is typing. So what I'm going to do is get rid of all this. First thing we've got to do is create a public float, and we're going to call this walk speed. And this is going to equal 10.0 f. Oh. What public is, it allows other scripts to access this parameter, and what a float is, it's a decimal number. So the next thing we've got to create is our function. So what I'm going to do is type void, and then function we're going to be using is fixed update. Fixed update is one word. So next thing you're going to do is type the brackets, and then we've got to create curly brackets. Okay, so then the next thing we've got to do is create our input function. So the A and D keys and the left and right keys. So we're going to create a float, and we're going to call this move, and this is going to equal input dot get axis with a capital G and A, brackets, quotations, and what we're going to type here is with a capital H, horizontal. And we put a semicolon. Semicolons just end the line of code. Next thing we're going to do is add what happens if we press left on right or A and D. So we're going to create an if class. So what we're going to do is type if with brackets, and we're going to type move. See, we created move up here, so we're using that. If move is less than 0, we are going to get component with the less than and greater than symbol, and inside that we are going to type rigid body 2D, and then we've got to type brackets dot velocity equals new vector 2, sorry, no, vector 3 brackets move times, that's shift 8, walk speed. Walk speed is what we created up here. Then we've got to do comma, get component, same thing, with the rigid body 2D brackets dot velocity dot y, and then after that we're gonna do a semicolon. Now we're gonna type up the same thing with one little difference. So in the if statement, instead of being move less than 0, we're going to make it move greater than 0. So when you press if move is less than 0, it's when you press either the A key or the left key, which will make it -1. And if you press D and right, it will make it +1. So what we're going to do is save that. So I'm going to press Control S. Then we're going to go back to Unity, and then before we run the game, we got to add it to our tank. So if you click and drag that onto your tank, you could either click and drag it to the tank or go to Add Component, Scripts, and then Player Move. So that's on the tank. All we've got to do now is just run the game. And there we go. We are moving the character. And that's it, guys. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on Unity3D. Also, feel free to watch my previous video on creating your own 2D pixel art sprites. Once again, I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Joshua Mootoo, and thanks for watching.